Or can you also share
one moment.
screen?
One moment.
Yes.
I did the webinar live.
Oh, we're already live? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, make host. Yes. Okay. Okay, everybody's
Okay.
host now.
So let me try sharing the screen now. Okay, you can see?
Yes.
Okay.
1 second.
And
yes, now we can see.
Okay, and then what about now? Also can see, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then I stop sharing, so it's okay now.
Maritza, can you share your screen for us in full screen?
You talking to me, Whitney?
No, to me.
Maritza.
Yeah, one moment. Can you? I have the presentation. Can you see the presentation?
No, we're seeing a Word document.
It always happens last minute. There is a flurry of registration from all like 10-15 people right now registered.
Yeah.
I think we are live now, Sanjeev.
Are we live already?
Yeah.
What?
Can you see now my presentation?
I didn't realize.
Yeah, I did it by mistake.
Absolutely no problem. Can you, yes, we can see your presentation. Can you make it into a bigger screen, so like full screen?
Yes.
And then we are good to go.
No.
Oh, no, not like that, but to be able to share your screen fully.
Yeah, it's full. I mean, there is no other option for that.
Okay, one moment.
Was it Control L or something?
Yes, that's what I'm looking for, because you should be able to share it.
Now?
Yeah, now it's.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. Sanjeev, must you still share anything on your screen to practice or to test?
I'll just do that.
Then I'll set up my screen, and then we can wait for people to start.
Host disable participation. I do not have the permission to share.
Really? I made
Whitney is the host. Whitney should be able to do it.
No,
she said
I made Maritza the host by accident, so right now she has to make you co-host. Right now you are host.
Now I made you host.
All right. Okay. Now I get it. Yes. All.
Can you make me also co-host in order I can share my screen again?
Will do.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. I think it works okay. Okay. You should be able to share now, Marija. Everybody is a co-host now, as far as I see.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to start in 7 minutes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session on fully managed IHM maintenance. We are Varuna Sentinels. Would like to welcome each and every one of you this morning. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are today. We are your hosts, Varuna Sentinels, where innovation meets experience. You can find us in the news and on social media. Please be sure to follow us to keep updates on future events. We are very active in the maritime industry, and to know more about us, go to our website, www.varuna-sentinels.com. I am your moderator this morning, Whitney. If you need me, I'm here. Our agenda today is we'll be doing presentations, we'll do Q&As at the end of the webinar, but we will also be answering a few questions throughout if they're urgent, but please note to put your questions in the Q&A chat box. We will also do key takeaways and have some conclusions, and we will let you know what's next for us. Without further ado, let me introduce to you our speakers today. We have Mr. Rakesh Bhargava. Rakesh Bhargava was formerly with Wilhelmsen Ship Management, where he headed, initiated, and operationalized the IHM green, recycling, and layup services. Has spent over 30 years with the company. He has his own startup, Sea Sentinels, which offers similar services apart from offering smart onboarding solutions. He's also the co-founder of Varuna Sentinels BV. He's a specialist in traditional end-to-end management of ships, a leading authority on the inventorying of hazardous materials, an expert on safe, innovative, and environmentally correct recycling of ships. Rakesh was also a pioneer in the recycling of ships. Rakesh was also a pioneer in the conceptualizing and implementation of both hot and cold layup of ships in safe and secure places. Rakesh has proven understanding of shipping, having served his stint at sea as chief engineer prior stepping ashore. He holds a graduate degree in engineering apart from other qualifications. Moving on, we have Mr. Sanjeev Renke Singh, the general manager at Varuna Marine Services based at The Hague in the Netherlands. He is also the co-founder of Varuna Sentinels BV, and he's qualified in marine engineering, and he's also a hazmat expert. We also have joining with us today, Ms. Maritza, and she's the marketing manager of Varuna Marine Services. She brings in a wealth of marketing and business development ideas, and she's qualified in hazmat experts. Thank you all for joining us today. Again, please submit your questions via the webinar Q&A, and we will be answering all the questions at the end of the webinar. Thank you, everyone, for joining us from all over the world. Without further ado, I will hand over this platform to Maritza. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. Today we will talk about IHM maintenance and the whole process around it. First of all, let's start about introducing our company, Varuna Sentinels, a company where innovation meets experience. I will start give you a small introduction about our IHM maintenance services with showing our brochure presentation. Can you see my screen?
No, we can't.
Okay.
While Maritza is setting up her screen, guys, please be sure to join our poll. Have you started with IHM maintenance? We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Okay, I think now
Yes.
you can see my screen. Yes. Okay, now we can start. So Varuna Sentinels, we're based in the Netherlands, and we're a company that specialized in IHM maintenance services. Our main focus is IHM maintenance, which is in line with the EU SRR requirements. And our team behind us has an extensive experience about IHM and thereafter about IHM maintenance. We have a central team of hazmat experts, which is supported by our IHM maintenance server that has been developed by us. Our server is a state-of-art cloud-based software, which is incorporated with machine learning. Here you can see a small process, including in IHM maintenance, what is the role of the designated and competent person, and how we do the whole communication with the suppliers in order to collect the right documents, documents like MDS and SDOCA's documents. Here you can see also exactly how it works. Later, our speakers will analyze extensively all the process. Here you can see all the server, our server, how it looks like exactly, and around it you can see all the stakeholders that are involved in that, as the ship owners, the designated person, the vessel competent person, the classification society, the suppliers, secured, IHM part 1, 2, and 3. And here you will see part of our IHM maintenance services, the owner's dashboard, where all the ship owners have access, and we track all the hazardous materials on board. And here on this dashboard, you can see the status of them. Next, you will see the ship's dashboard and all the decks, and here you can see the location diagrams, the location diagrams of the hazardous materials. And last but not least, we can see here the architecture of our software, how it looks like, and also that it is GDPR compliant and also cloud security software. And you can always find us in our head offices in the Netherlands, and specifically in The Hague. And also you can reach us in our offices in Singapore. Thank you once more for joining our webinar, and the floor is yours, Mr. Rakesh and Mr. Sanjeev. Thank you all.
Whitney?
Mr.
Whitney, are you there?
Mr.
I think you are on mute, Whitney. Sorry.
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Maritza, for sharing your informative, I was indeed on mute. Thank you for sharing your informative presentation with us. Moving on, we'll go to Mr. Rakesh, who will share with us inventory of hazardous materials maintenance. Rakesh, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Whitney. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Fantastic. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, as and where you may be. Thank you, Marisa. You have given a very simple and small peak review of our IHM maintenance program. And I will basically go into, I will not repeat what Marisa said, but I will just go into basically the regulatory part, which all of you might be wanting to know. Subsequently, after me, Sanjeev will take over and he will dive deeper into the actual program of what we do. So here we go. So we are an expert company, as Marisa has said, and we are basically only focused on IHM maintenance. So I will run through. This is the Hong Kong. These are the regulatory requirements, which is governed by HKC and European Union, EUSRR. And here is the timeline, which I think we have crossed into. The deadline was 31/12/2020 for the IHM to be enforced, and we are into February now. So it is enforceable now. However, some of you who may not have done the IHM as yet, initial IHM as yet, we still have 6 months. We have still June to go, wherein your ships can still be valid to go to EU, but with certain conditions which apply. However, we will stick only to IHM maintenance. So here are the regulatory compliances requirement, which comes from both MEPC 269/68, which is Hong Kong Convention, and also from the EUSRR. Both of them require there's a procedure for maintenance, and then there's a lifetime quality management. From the EUSRR 1257, as you can see, we have, if you go into subsections of 5.5.1 and 5.5.2, they clearly specify what are the procedures required for maintenance, which is the ship owner is responsible for the maintenance of part 1, and he has to designate a person as responsible for maintaining the inventory. As well as there's a lifetime quality management system, wherein there should be procedures inscribed into the SMS systems. I will go into that a bit later. Also, the EUSRR very clearly specifies that a software tool can be used to support the IHM development and maintenance, because they realize it's a very onerous task for any company to do it manually. So they have specified very clearly into that system that a software tool may be used. And also they have specified very clearly that this process may be outsourced. It can be done by company by themselves or can be outsourced. So I will go into the dive into the regulation of EUSRR, which is wherein we have a life cycle management as well as a procedure. So I will go into the procedure first, which very clearly specifies that the ship owner is responsible for the maintenance of part 1 of the IHM during the lifetime of the ship. Part 1 of the IHM should belong to the ship, and the continuity and conformity of the information it contains should be confirmed. especially if the flag owner or operator of the ship changes, which means it is a continuous part of the ship. This is one certificate which remains with the vessel even if the vessel is sold or the flag is changed or the owner is changed or even if the operator or the class is changed. In accordance with the IMO guidelines, ship owners should implement a series of measures to ensure the conformity of the part 1 of the inventory in this context. They have to designate a person as responsible for maintaining. And the main responsibility of the designated person is the maintenance and updating of IHM in accordance with the IMO guidelines and this guidelines of the EU EMSA guidance, which forms the guidelines for the EU SRR. The duties of the designated person should be incorporated in the ship owner's quality management system and should be clearly described in writing. That means it becomes a part of the SMS systems of the ship. And of course, it may be simplified or it might become very quite demanding, especially if a major conversion or extensive repairs are taken. It should be noted that the IHM should be updated according to the requirements for new ships as stipulated in the relevant provisions of the IMO and EMSA guidelines, which means that, of course, once you have an existing vessel, you can make initial IHM as per the sampling procedures as given in the guidelines. However, when you are going to maintain the IHM, it has to be done as per the new ship requirements. When you have a new ship, there are different requirements to making an IHM, and when you have to maintain an IHM, you have to follow these guidelines for new ships. The ships are high, so of course we have to have a lifetime quality management wherein we know very well that the ships are high quality assets, and it is a standard practice that we have various relevant certificates, etc., which are trading certificates for the ship. So as I said earlier, all the relevant certificates cease to be valid upon transfer of the ship to the flag of another state. However, it is only the IHM which is properly maintained and updated, and it will be supplemented by the statement of compliance, and this will remain together with the ship. So therefore, it is important that this IHM maintenance certificate is properly updated and conforms to all regulatory requirements, and will remain till the end, till a decision is taken to recycle a ship. It's taken wherein the part 2 and part 3 are also filled in for the IHM before delivery to the ship recycling yard. So these are the basic regulatory requirements as described by the EU SRR and EMSA. So I will go further in details on the requirements here, which is from the port state controls for the EU SRR. Now, Article 11 for the EU SRR regulations, 11.2 specifically, and 11.2.b, a very specific one, which clearly specifies that a detailed inspection or it comes under a red flag for the port state controls when during an inspection there is no procedure implemented on board the ship for the maintenance of part 1 of the inventory of hazardous materials. So this is a very crucial requirement and a very valid requirement which all ship owners or ship managers must know, because here is a red flag which is and it is specified very clearly into the ship recycling regulations, and the articles are very clearly specified here. Of course, there are various recent local legislations on incompliant IHMs for port state controls, wherein there are, of course, the detention, detainment, and fines are stipulated for various this thing. And here Marisa has already given you a little bit of the process, how the process is managed. Here we have the fully processed managed, wherein the ship owners will assign 2 people, designated person as well as the competent person, wherein the designated person is is shore based, while a competent person is on the vessel based. So these two together will form a complete team for ship recycling, for the maintenance of the IHM, and wherein the purchase orders are received from the purchasing department, and checks are made, the suppliers are contacted, MDs, SDOCs are received, and therein updated into the server for Varuna Sentinels. There are various, as mentioned in the regulations, we have the competent person's tasks and responsibilities clearly defined. We have the designated person's tasks and responsibilities clearly defined, and the work processes are also very clearly defined. So these all these together meet the requirements of the USRR maintenance part. So these are all work processes which are defined. This is the VSM IMS, which is our server, maintenance server, which is developed which is cloud-based and developed by Varuna Sentinels, who own this software. And it is, of course, individual vessel-based, fleet-based, owner-based, manager-based. This is a very small dashboard that Marisa has also shared with you, when we track all the 15 elements as given by the required by the inside the system. Here we have the purchase orders tracking fully, and here the MD's SDOC's requirements. And here we have Varuna Sentinels package. We have the manual, we have the IHM record book, and various 6 annexes. This together will make you fully, once incorporated into the SMS systems of the ship owners, this will make you fully compliant for IHM. Not to say that you have to walk the talk. That means you have to follow the requirements as stipulated in the manual and your SMS systems. So there is these are the various components: the software, the manual, the personalized training, and the DP and the CP. DP is the designated person ashore, and the CP is the person on board. So there is nothing else. This is what makes us different. Our software is very much in line with latest professional requirements, which is so we are fully in line for the future and well placed to take on all types of load, or any types of vessel, or any number of vessels. So that's it from me. I have been a little bit short and fast, but I leave who will take you deeper into how we have developed the software and how it works. Thank you very much. I'll be back at the end of the presentation to field any questions that you may have. Sanjeev, the floor is yours. Hello, Sanjeev.
Yes, I think Whitney wanted to come in.
Never mind.
Thank you very much, Rakesh, for sharing with us your very informative presentation. We have a lot of people still joining in from everywhere. I hope a lot of people, can still join us while we reach the stretch of our webinar. It's going really great. Guys, I see that you guys are filling out the poll. Continue to do so. We're switching the poll right now to our last question. So make sure I fill it out. We're really interested in hearing from you. In 5 minutes or so, the Q&A chat box will be open, so please submit your questions so that when Sanjeev finishes his presentation, we can start getting into the most active part of our webinar. Yeah, so without further ado, not taking any of your time, Sanjeev, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Whitney. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
The Sentinels website, yeah, that's
Yes.
okay. Thank you so much, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody who is joining in. And so what I'm going to do now is after Marija and Rakesh has gone through the regulatory part of it and give you a sneak peek of what and how we are managing IHM for our customers so far. I'll be mostly focused on the tool that we use to do that. So it is a software, in-house software that we have developed, and we use it uh, with the support of our technical team, of course. So we have a group of HAZMAT experts in-house who are managing using the state-of-art software. So very quickly, few points that I want to mention is that this is owner based webinar, because we are only addressing ship owners particularly in this webinar, whereby we will be showing you the owner's dashboard. Obviously, we also have supplier dashboard. We also have class dashboard. So if you are a supplier, because I saw a lot of suppliers also registered for this particular webinar. So please contact us for supplier specific presentation, which we can also do one-on-one with you, if you will. Um, but this particular presentation and the whole description will be mostly focused on ship owners as to how they can understand our process and benefit from it. So if you are a supplier or a class, please do contact us for a one-on-one presentation. So the software, I mean, the biggest issue while you are using a software to provide a service is data privacy. So we have been very particular about data privacy and how do you address data privacy, and that is the reason why from the very initial stages we decided to have the server in European Union, given the fact that EU has the stringent data privacy regulation called GDPR in place from any other jurisdictions in the world. So we have all our data servers based within Europe, which was our commitment to data privacy to begin with. So data privacy is in the design of the software. So any data that any owner would be sharing with us is highly encrypted, and it remains the owner's data. So you own your own data. Obviously, we use the data to maintain your IHMs and give you the updated reports and all your KPIs as far as your IHM lifecycle management is concerned for your fleet, from the very beginning till the time when you decide to send your ship for ship recycling. We would be your designated person as far as IHM and the lifecycle management of IHM is concerned. So once the data privacy has been addressed it as a design, we have also taken into account that this is a browser-based software, which essentially means that you do not need to have any plugin installation or anything whatsoever on your end. It's basically like any website that you may be visiting using a authentication method of username and password, and you have your KPI. So maybe you are on your offices or you are on your vessel. Anybody with the designated credentials could go in and see the requisite data, download requisite reports, which I'll be demonstrating you in the live demonstration that I'll be doing. Obviously, the software itself is a state of art, we call it, because it also has embedded AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning in its design, which essentially means that it learns as it goes. So the more data we are putting in, the more decisions we are making. It remembers our decision, and it prompts as to if anything is not new decision has to be made. It helps our HAZMAT experts with the algorithm that runs in the backend. One important factor is also the fact that it is based upon cloud, and AWS cloud essentially and also designed as to the highest of the cybersecurity standard that we are following in the industry. As we all are aware that we are IMO 2021 is here as well, so which takes us into the cybersecurity premise, which maritime industry was not too keen earlier, but now it's increasingly becoming important for every stakeholder to take cybersecurity very important. So that cybersecurity compliance is also embedded in the system, and we have ensured that our software, our services are in line with what the best practices are there in the cybersecurity premise. The last part about the software configuration, we call it plug and play. The reason being, we are fully aware that ship owners are using multiple systems. Some are in-house, some are in terms of purchasing your supplies, and we have successfully integrated with diverse set of purchasing systems, whereby owners really do not need to take any manual work on their shoulders. That once it is systematically and digitally integrated with your purchasing system, the data flows automatically to our server. The hazmat experts to make the decision as to go to the supplier, ask the requisite documents. The documents comes in, and basically that is how the whole maintenance process is being run. So this is very important point. If you have an in-house system and you may think that, oh, this is too cumbersome to connect to another third-party supplier to do your maintenance processes, please do speak with us with your with your specific software or process that you have, because we have managed to give you some examples. We have managed to work with ShipServe. So ShipServe is one of the biggest platform that is there for purchasing. We have successfully integrated with Danos, for example. So that is another software that we have one client on Danos as well. We are speaking with Spectec. So if you have MOS or any version of MOS that you are running, we have integrated with that as well. So just speak to us about this one-on-one. Obviously, it's in this presentation we cannot address every particular software, but just so that you know, if you have any custom built in-house software or whatever methods you have in-house, we can adapt our software to come close to you and get that data into the system. And that will remove a lot of manual layer that you have in the system. So with those very quick points, I will go back to the dashboard and try to talk about what we have done. So again, we own the software. So basically, if you do not like what we have showed you, feel free to give us your positive criticism, because we can very well change it. That is the best part of owning a product, that that we are not selling or trying to give you one size fit all kind of solution. You could always say, well, that part I don't like. I would rather have this and this and this visualized in my dashboard, or my report should not be formatted like this or a different format. We'll be very happy to present you with your KPIs in the dashboard. So this is the central dashboard. Once you log in into the software, this is what you will see. That on the top hand side, we have a timeline. So basically, as the date, usually the regulation stipulates that you have to kick in a maintenance process from the date SOC, the statement of compliance was issued by the class. So that means that there will be a cycle that will be running from the day you have started the maintenance process. And that's why this slider is very, very important, is because you move from month to month, you move from quarter to quarter, and the data keeps on evolving. So all the MDs and SGOCs, everything in the IHM space that happens, it keeps on changing. So your inventory keeps on changing. I mean, it can add if you have bought something, or if it can subtract if you have landed something or refurbished something. So there will be a change in the inventory, and it is not a constant. So every time it changes with time, you can see with the slider what was the status in that particular quarter. And we think this is very, very important characteristic of representing the data set in this way, because let's say an auditor, a class or a flag state auditor asked you to show me what was there in 6 quarter behind, and then you can immediately go back on that quarter and show them, well, look, these were my inventory of the 15 tracked elements. Obviously, this is all also present on the hard copy of the report that we'll give you. So it's not that the soft version is the only option to show to auditors, but this is also a version and easily accessible than any physical file that is there. So in addition to the physical report that we'll be giving you, you'll also have access to this. And you can very well show an auditor that how your inventory and life cycle management is working, as in place, and what you can do, what you are doing to keep it compliant. Obviously, this comes from every step that you have defined in your SMS, and we follow the SMS basically through the software and our team of HEDMAT experts. On the top right hand side here, you have 3 counters that we have presented. The first counter that you see is PO tracked versus received, because we were getting a lot of questions from ship owners as to, we do not know what is the extent of this job. There is still a lot of confusion in the market, as if, is it even a job? So I think to answer those questions for the clients who have already trusted us, what we have done is, we have said, okay, let's start PO tracked versus received. So if you are sending us X amount of POs in a month, or in a quarter, then how many of them you are actually tracking? That is also shows you that how many of those POs actually contains a red flagged item. What I mean by red flag is, just to be clear, is something that is suspiciously hazardous, because we are using indicative lists from the MEPC and IMO. So we also do not know whether for sure it contains hazardous item. We with our knowledge and experience, we can only suspect, and that's why we call it red flagged. So the moment we say it is red flag, then that is what qualifies that particular item to go and request MDs and SDOCs from the supplier. Again, many companies have started a practice of asking MDs and SDOCs from everything you are buying. So we have to also be very careful, because that puts undue burden on the suppliers. And some suppliers have also gone as far as charging for documentation, because they think it is completely not necessary. So we have to be very, very careful as to what we request, and also how to make the decision. I think that is where our team of hazmat experts adds that value. We think our strongest part is whereby our team, the experience that we have after having done about 1,000 IHMs for very many vessels, worked with almost all IX members. So we have that expertise in house, and that's where we apply to find out which particular items are hazardous and which are not hazardous and doesn't qualify for MDs and SDOCs. And the second counter that you see is item tracked versus purchase, because obviously there is no industry standard as to what a PO, how many items or line items a PO can contain. So we also broken it down. So let's say if all the POs contains X amount of items, then we add it up and say out of those items purchased versus tracked. So that gives you a real number as to what you have been buying. So in this particular set of dummy data we have, let's say the owner bought 22,906 items, but out of that we thought 265 items are suspiciously hazardous. Of course, after this, we also go and request MDs and SDOCs. So in this case, you just see that how many MDs and SDOCs have been requested versus pending. So these are the three counters which we think will give you an insight of what is happening on your fleet, your purchasing, whole purchasing landscape that you may have. And this is an aggregated view. So all your fleet are on this. Obviously, I will shortly be talking about how you can filter this data and drill down to one individual ship. But when you are on this default screen, what you will be seeing is basically aggregated view of your fleet. And we can obviously set up your login accesses. So if you have, let's say, a technical superintendent who is in charge only for few vessels, then we can also break it down, the user login and authentication, depending upon the level of access that you want to provide to various users across your organization. On the central part, this is the 15 elements, as we all know that USRR has asked us to track. So starting from asbestos, and it goes from PCB, ODS, and all the way to HBCDD. So this is an aggregated view. So basically, what it tells you is you have 6 ships with asbestos containing material on this aggregated view. If there is a small switch we have kept. If you were to flip it, then you see there are 38 asbestos containing point on those 6 ships that we just looked at. And obviously the same goes for the rest of the item. So this really gives you a playing field as to, okay, what is happening, how many lead are there, how much of what is happening on your entire fleet. Now this filter icon is very, very important, because obviously not every time you want to look at an aggregated data, you may want to filter it for so many reasons. And one can be fleet and sub-fleet. Then you can also have ship owner versus ships. So basically, if you are a technical manager or a ship owner itself, then you can have multiple technical manager. Or if you are a technical manager, then you can have very many ship owners that you are working with. And ships, of course, that is perhaps the easiest filter that you can apply. If you remove the default, you will see what you will notice is, as I filter, the backend data is continuously updating. And that is, I think, one of the strongest feature that we have. Because when we were designing the UI of this software, our main purpose, after studying other competitors as well as what is there in the market, we experienced that we wanted to cut through the really jargon of representing the data. And here in our software, you can get in 1 or 2 clicks what you are looking for. And that has been the essence of our design, because you may not want to dig into layers after layers of software, as you see with some of the dinosaurs of the industry that we have, that these softwares have become so big right now there are special classes just to learn one process from going A to B, and that is what we think that we are cutting through by giving you a state-of-art software which gives you the data that you need for. So what I just did was I just filtered one vessel, so you can see there is an active filter in place, and the backend data automatically filtered. So basically what you are seeing now is this particular ship has got 3 asbestos containing, 10 lead, and 1 radioactive, and all this data. So PO related data, item tracked versus purchase data, MD generated, everything is now of that particular vessel. On the bottom, we also have this data set and MD generated. You see the document supporting documents you have. Of course, you have, if you have a PO attached to it, then you have the PO number in and everything from here. If you want to see where this item, for example, is situated, you can just click this up arrow and it will take you to that particular deck of the vessel, whereby you could very well see what that item is and where that entry has come from. Again, I would like to remind, in the software, there are how the IHM inventory actually comes in. The starting point is IHM part 1 from your service supplier. Once the starting point has been achieved, then obviously from there you have only way you can enter is if you are buying something that contains hazardous. So there are 2 ways that IHM inventory can be changed. Of course, if you are landing, then we also change it with the landing node. So with this view, you can see that everything that comes here, you can filter out. And if you go back and clear the filter, by default, what will happen is all the backend data, you will see that you will go back and reset itself to what it was before you have run the filter. More filters include flags. So if you have fleet of vessel which is across multiple flags, then you can also choose a flag. Similarly, vessel class and vessel IHM class. We have tried to make a distinction between vessel class and vessel IHM class because we from our experience, we know that some owners, despite having the vessel with a certain class, decided to do the whole IHM with a different class, and that's why we have data set whereby you see that these two are, it can be different for one particular vessel. IHM status, obviously. So if you were to see HM, all the red items or the items that are non-hazardous, so everything you can filter from here. If you want to only see asbestos containing, or if you want to pick up one of your hazardous item, you can also pick up from the filter window. And IHM part 1. So basically, if you want to distinguish between part 1, part 2, and part 3, this is where you can distinguish. So this is how the dashboard is concerned. I will very quickly jump onto the ship level because I also see that we do not have a lot of time. So excuse me if I'm going too quick, but we will be very happy to do one-on-one presentation if there are anything that we are not able to answer in this webinar. So on the vessel level, what happens? I just want to briefly touch upon where do we even begin to maintain your IHM. So the first thing that we ask you is to give us your IHM part 1. So whoever has drawn that in the whole world, doesn't matter. Give us your IHM part 1. That is where our process begins. We will upload your vessels into our system. That the process we call onboarding. So you can see that in this case, this vessel has been onboarded. All your GA and every deck has been properly aligned, and this part is what we start with. So basically, in terms of the documents, you have the original IHM in place. Of course, all the POs that will be coming from your end. And if you look at the material record, you can also see what is the, you can also see all the IHM summary right in the dashboard. And this forms a part of the maintenance process. Now, this is the most important part, the purchase order section, because this forms really the soul of the maintenance process. So I talked about briefly how the data about your line items can seamlessly flow into our dashboard. But when the data is flowing in, when you go to your vessel or on the dashboard, you will see this view. What it does is, I will just take one example and try to explain this. Here, for every supplier in the world, for every every product that is supplies, we have one unique code. So that is the way the database and the ecosystem is evolving, because how do you even keep track of the questions were asked that how do you avoid duplication of asking the same MD and SDOC from the same supplier for the same product? And to avoid that, we started giving this unique codes for every supplier and plus the product. Thereby we would we would know if that particular supplier has given MD-GNS DOCs in a previous instance, and even if it is from a different owner, let's say, or a different vessel, but if that product is in the system will tell our HAZMAT expert that we already have the MD-GNS DOCs, and that would be compared against what has been ordered, and we could very well cut on unnecessary communication, because that is one of the biggest problem industry is facing, is that how do you make smart decisions when you are actually trying to communicate with your supplier, and so that suppliers are also not bothered, and a seamless process could run in your purchasing processes. So this code that you see here is for this particular supplier, who turn in code ship Chandler, and that goes for Mars Riva and so on and so forth. And then we have certain items here. So if you click here, there are some filters that we have activated. So if you want to filter a certain order date, you can also select your date range, and you can filter the date what you want to find. I think the biggest, the most important thing will be like if you want to see what you are tracking, because here the database will grow and grow, and it will become thousands and thousands of line items, and it will be almost very difficult to find out what you are even tracking. So what we have done is, if you just click on tracked items on a particular vessel, it automatically filters out. See, out of that whole set of data, now what you see is basically what we are tracking. And if you are tracking, that essentially means that is hazardous, and in this case it has already been received. So the MDs and SDOCs are automatically coming into the system, and you can just click it and see what the product contains, and if it doesn't contain anything, that will also tell you within the system. So you can see here, this is how MDs and SDOCs is. So in short, what will happen is, no matter how much the data grows, within 2 or 3 filters, you can find what you are looking for. And so if you want everything, let's say all, then you just click all, and everything comes back into your database. And this also shows you how many POs were issued to this particular supplier, and within those POs, how many items this particular supplier has supplied you. And obviously this shows that the moment anything is positive, then you will have HM red as 1, and if it is not positive, then normally we suspected it, and it turned out that it is not hazardous. So this is a very quick sneak peek of what happens, and obviously the quarterly report will become available here. So every quarter you can see a report right here in the dashboard, and you can download it and put it together with the IHM log that Rakesh mentioned earlier, and the report can go in. So that report will be very crucial to maintain the continuity of the process. So if a port state control comes in, you can show that the IHM is being kept updated. And obviously, if the vessel can also show them online if they have access to internet, or if it is an office-based audit, that is pretty straightforward as well. At the very last, I see I'm running out of time. I just want to quickly mention the supplier ecosystem, because that is something that a ship owner will also benefit from. So one, obviously, you have your own supplier. So one process is that you are asking us to vet any product that you are buying from your existing supplier ecosystem. But what we will also activate for you is a Varuna Sentinels vetted ecosystem. What it means is, we have vetted the supplier's product chain, and then we have vetted their MDs and SDOCs, and we have made them available for you to select. So if you do select anybody from the ecosystem, one guarantee that you will have from us is that their product is compliant. They have the required documentation. The biggest problem right now we are facing is you are going ahead and buying it, and then the supplier may not be ready with MDs and SDOCs, or they may not be even willing to take the liability, because this is not just about giving MDs and SDOCs, it's about liability. Because what it really creates is that if anybody signs and gives us a legal document, they will be liable if later on it was found out that the information provided wasn't accurate. And that's why many suppliers, especially from US, we have experience, and from South America, they are far from EU regulations, and they are finding it difficult to comply. So on the other side, what we have done is, we work with these suppliers, we inform them how to go about discovering their whole supply chain. And even in cases where it was not possible to find from document analysis, we have done sampling for supplier sampling, and then we have sent it to laboratories for analysis. So at least the same process that we adopted to develop IHM Part 1, we are helping suppliers to also get their MDG and SDOCs in line. So they see a benefit in that, because once the MDG and SDOCs are drawn, then they have a degree of confidence that there is no, if ever there was a liability question, they can say that due diligence was done. So that supplier ecosystem, the Varuna Sentinel supplier ecosystem, is quite an important ecosystem that we are developing, and we hope that we can add some value to the process. It is not just just keeping your IHM life cycle maintained, but also going far and above and beyond that, whereby we can help you with suppliers that are compliant. And this is just the beginning of the circular maritime economy that we have conceived. And obviously ship owner sits in the middle, and the suppliers are there. But you can see that our ambition is really to bring this ecosystem and develop this ecosystem to include each and every stakeholder, whereby we can have a fair sharing of transparency of the whole life cycle of how ships are built, how they're run, and how they're recycled. So what we hope to achieve with this ecosystem is really a circularity in shipping, whereby we could see that who supplied the product, how it was used, and how it was recycled in the very end. So obviously there are other entities that we can talk about it, but I have taken more time than I was allocated, so I apologize for that. But yeah, if you are anybody else other than ship owners, please do contact us for one-on-one presentation. We will love to speak to you about your use case and your value proposition. Thank you, and Whitney, I yield to you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you very, very much. Put on my light. Thank you very much. Also very informative and very great presentation once more on fully managed IHM maintenance. Maritza, Rakesh, and Sanjeev brought their A game today to give us information. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And we have a few questions that came in. I'm going to read it. And Sanjeev, while you're still here, maybe you can answer the first one. She says, anonymous, she says, or he says, good day. We are ship owners for Adriatic region, Jedrolinja, Croatia. And we already implemented our IHM Part 1 to our ships for international sailing as well. As maintenance of IHM through our partner BB Croatia. Please send me all presentations of today's webinar to my email. Okay. Anonymous, we will reach out to you. Sanjeev will reach out to you to see what we can mean for each other, of course. So let's move on to another question where I see Rakesh answered it, but he says Sanjeev will walk you through. So maybe this is a great moment for Sanjeev to pull back his presentation to see who we need to walk through. Alessandro says, good day. I am a superintendent based in Monaco working for a ship management company. I have a question regarding the collection of MD and SDOC. For spares on stores, our class told us that it is mandatory to collect these documents for all the spares placed on board and for the stores which fall into the table A and B. If this is the case, is there a very huge workload? Is it true or not? Because of the regulations, it's not clear. For example, for spares, if it said that it says that when these are due for replacement for similar or same items, we do not need MD or SDOCs. O-rings place O-rings, gaskets place gaskets, valves replace valves, etc. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, this is true. All A and B need to be tracked. It is not onerous task, and UESSR had understood this. Hence, they allowed to use of software tools. I'll walk you through.
Thank you, Alessandro, for the question. And absolutely, this is the biggest question that we have been working on for last 1 year to even get our head around as to what this landscape should look like. And we are happy to inform you that we have, with our rigorous discussion with ship owners and classification societies and flag states, we have a common denominator now, and which we think would meet most all the classes and flags requirement. And in this case, I think Rakesh has already answered you. But you are right in saying that if it is the same equipment and the same manufacturer who is giving you again and again, and it is you are replacing an existing equipment with the same type, you do not need MDs and SDOCs because that was already there on the vessel. But then again, what that type looks like and how it can vary, there is a very thin line. If you are even getting a comparable product which is not exactly what was there, then it qualifies for MD and SDOC. Obviously, if that product falls within the indicative list that we keep referring to, because MEPC has a very clear guidance in the indicative list. So that is what we are even applying, and if your item contains that and it is not a replacement of the item that is already on board, we definitely want to get MDs and SDOCs included into that.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Andrea asked, many suppliers and vendors are not able or reluctant to provide the requested MD SDOC. How do you manage this issue? Rakesh, I saw that you answered it. Would you care to answer it for everyone that joined our webinar today?
Yeah, one sec. Yeah, I think I answered this question. Of course, we realized it quite early in the days that there'll be a lot of reluctance and some friction for the suppliers to supply the MDs and SDOCs, because that's a onerous task, and they have never been doing it. So it's a change of system, change of scenario. So there will be reluctance, of course. So we did find that quite early in our days, and of course with our digital method of MDs and SDOCs, it became so much easier for them also, that to provide and put it into the system directly, or we assist them on a very proactive basis, the suppliers, so that they are aware of the value that they are going to provide. And then of course it was a learning experience for them also. So I'm happy to say that we still have that problem, but quite happy to say, as we get along, and especially with the targeted requirements of MDs and SDOCs, we don't require a blanket MD SDOCs. So as Sanjeev said, we have a target list, and the target list meets the requirements of the HKC and the EUSRR. So that makes it the pain point a little bit easier for the suppliers, and we help them. Then the very fact that we help them to comply and they understand, so I think we are getting easier on a day-by-day basis. I hope it answers your question, because it requires actually a digital approach. Any supplier, if you ask him the same questions, supply the same MDs and SDOCs, of course it is an onerous task for him, and he will definitely have reluctance. But as per our software, we can very easily verify which suppliers have already given the MDs and SDOC, not only for your ship, not only for your this owner, across our owner, across our database. If they have supplied that particular MD and SDOC, then we will not ask them again. We will just pick up the MD SDOC and apply that. So it makes it easier. And as we see, as with our machine learning and our artificial intelligence, we see things going easier and easier. We are already seeing a trend of things becoming easier. Well, I hope it answers.
Thank you, Rakesh. Well, we have reached the ending of our webinar. It's 10:56, and we will be rounding off this webinar. I just want to thank everyone for joining in today. I see everybody from all around the world has joined in again. People from Croatia, people from the Netherlands, but we also have people from Asia joining in. And I just want to say thank you guys for coming out. It was, again, a very great session. We're looking forward to hearing from you guys next month, but feel free to follow us on social media to keep updates on what we're doing, where we're going. A lot of great things are happening for us, so please feel free to follow us. If you need any more information and you would like to reach out to someone from marketing, Maritza is there to assist you. You can also follow her on social media. So once again, thank you, Maritza, thank you, Rakesh, and thank you, Sanjeev. for coming out this morning and sharing your knowledge with all of us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.